Hello. I have tea. Oh, and we're ready to stream. So, we are going to be delving into the world of Citizen Sleeper 2. We really enjoyed the first game. And you know, I've been excited to see this one coming out. It's been out a week now? Just under a week. Came out on the 31st of January 2025. And we're now in February. How the heck? Also, hi, Kush. Yeah, I have been looking forward to this one. It is a RPG game, but you play it with dice. And it took me a while to get used to that in the first game, but the story just really drew me in, and there's, you know, title updates with DLC, and it was just like, I'm really excited and excited to see more. So the original game was out in May 2022, so it has actually been a while. Wow, that's like 2.5 years. My God, have I been waiting 2.5 years for no, because they released like the DLC over a fair few months in 3 parts, so you know, they didn't announce 2 until after that. But anyway, time has no meaning, so you know, it doesn't really matter. But this game is developed by Jump Over the Age and published by Fellow Traveller. Fellow Traveller have published quite a lot of games that I really enjoy. This one is cross-platform on Game Pass and is an ID at Xbox game, so thank you at ID at Xbox for the code for this one. There is a Helion collection if you don't own the first game. Even I think that was on Game Pass as well. Is it still on Game Pass? I keep on clicking on things and I'm clicking on the wrong thing. Is it still on Game Pass? It might also... Yeah, it is available on Game Pass. So if you don't have Game Pass, then, I mean... I would question your life choices because there are so many good games on Game Pass. I would understand, however, you know, because things are expensive and, you know, capitalism. But Game Pass is a really good deal, and if you have Game Pass, both of the Citizen Sleeper games are on Game Pass. If you don't, then you can get the bundle for £33.49, or just this one game for £20.99. Or the equivalent in dollars and euros, etc. There are 30 achievements and 4 people have completed it, so they are all obtainable. I completed the game on dangerous difficulty. Interesting, there's a difficulty-based one. Cool, I wonder how many endings there are on this one. So yeah, thank you to ID at Xbox. For this one, I think I said that, but I'm just going to say that again. It's also available on PC, Switch, PlayStation and Xbox. It's also available on... I haven't said what I'm playing it on. I'm playing it on Xbox. It's also available on PC, Switch, and PlayStation. And yeah, Citizen Sleeper 2 Starward Vector. Tabletop RPG in a human and heartfelt sci-fi world. You are an escaped android with a malfunctioning body, a price on your head, and no memory of your past. Get a ship, find a crew, and take on contracts while you navigate across... the Starward Belt. The highly anticipated sequel to one of 2022's most acclaimed RPGs. This game takes players to the Starward Belt, a richly realised ramshackle set of habitats in an asteroid belt full of secrets, stories, and characters trying to make ends meet. You are a sleeper, an emulation of a human mind housed in an artificial body, which you really need to have played like the first game, I think, possibly to understand that. Let me just switch so you can see me. Hello, this one's yellow. The other game was red. Sort of a pinky red. This one is very yellow. Yeah, so the first game was very much you are an emulated mind. There was a lot of like security protocols, but you still managed to escape, and then you were trying to figure out how to cut off access, but also not, you know, keep the body that you were in. And it's a whole like rich storyline, so I don't know whether this sort of sleeper thing will be explained in this one, whether you have the option to say I played the game before type thing, but you are still on the run from the corporation that made you and the gang that seeks to control you. We get to commandeer a ship, build a network of crew and allies, take on challenging contracts as you seek to build a future for yourself. Choose a class, configure your skills, and assemble your crew in a unique tabletop-inspired gameplay. Your future depends on the roll of a dice as you make difficult choices in a complex world. So it reinvents the award-winning systems of Citizen Sleeper, and this RPG will satisfy both fans of the original game and new players alike. So that's really cool. So the thing that is in this one is the what's it image? The key art has a cat, and I remember in the first game we fed a stray. Not the game, a cat, with like scraps and stuff. So I am wondering if we get the stray back. I think I may have seen a screenshot somewhere. Don't know whether that was Scaravesa played it. But yeah, so the whole dice-based with energy mechanics is probably sort of similar. There are only 3 people involved in making this. My god. So Gareth, Damien Martin, they are involved in the design, art, writing and programming. Amos Roddy for the music and sound design, and Guillaume Sanglin for the character art. 3 people! Well, it's a 1-person game development studio, Gareth, Damien Martin. And they probably hired in then the comic book artist Guillaume Sanglin and Amos Reddy, the composer. As a 1-person development team. I mean, hi Leaky. I seriously enjoyed the first game. I appreciate it even more knowing it was a single person, because that game was complex. There was a lot of weaving narratives. There was a lot of story. I don't think I broke it once, which is an accomplishment for me, but also, you know, that is a resounding endorsement. That's the word I wanted. God, my ability to retrieve words is appalling today. Though I did come up with some really, really, really pretty words in one of my interviews, one of which was French. Mélange means mix, but it sounds a lot nicer than mix. There was another word, but I can't remember it now. Yeah, so we have a question of the day. I changed it. I thought it was kind of appropriate with this game. Why does the press kit duplicate everything? That is confusing. But anyway, I'm impressed. We are going to play the game. And yeah, so question of the day today is: you can end a large global problem of your choice, but to do so, you must choose to either live in a world without movies or without video games. Which would you choose? And why? I think I got this one from the Mighty L Discord, which is where I get a couple of where I've got quite a few of them, who probably got them from somewhere else, but you know, I like Mighty L. And I think the original question was movies or books, or possibly video games. I don't think I could choose to get if it included and books, then I could never get rid of books. But I think I'd be hard pressed to get rid of games. I think I'd be okay without movies, but it would be hard. And I'm wondering if without movies, video games would be, you know, you'd see more like FMV style video games, or things like Quantum Break. I was going to say Quantum Leap then. Quantum Break, where, yeah. But I mean, movies steal from other media as well, so, you know. It's called artistic inspiration, not stealing. Oh yeah. So yeah, I think there was an update recently. Stay up to date. Where? Right, hang on. No, I wanted to read the thing. All right. Sign up to the newsletter. I'm already part of the newsletter, but if you want to, then here's the newsletter. Okay. Okay. So, new game. But yeah, it's one of those. If you could end like war, or world hunger, or poverty, or something, massive like that, of course, you'd pick one of those to give up. You'd be able to, because it would have such an impact. And then it's a case of thinking about, okay, so difficulty can be changed at any time. There is an achievement for playing on the hardest difficulty. Dangerous. But I'm going to have a look at what the difficulty means. So tutorials are on. Difficulty can be changed at any time. Safe. For those focused on the story, a low risk option. Broken dice are worth 1. Higher stress tolerance. Death is disabled. Okay. Risky. The intended difficulty for those happy to be challenged. Broken dice cannot be used. Standard stress tolerance. Death incurs a significant permanent penalty. There's death? Or dangerous. For experienced players who want an unforgiving challenge with no second chances, dice repairs require more components, very low stress tolerance, double energy depletion, death is permanent. I'm going to go with, for my first run, because I imagine that there are multiple endings like there were in the last, I'm going to do a risky run. I'm not going to do dangerous for my first run, especially not on stream. Imagine, we hit the wrong thing and we die within 10 minutes. That would be hilarious. I mean, those are very good questions, Leaky. It's a world without movies, so for me, that says movies never existed. TV shows can still exist. Because that's not movies. That's how I'd take it. Cartoons, anime, that sort of thing. Maybe feature-length episodes of anime veer on movie. I don't know. But yes, movies never existed. Long form, or no, so that sort of short form, mid-form media, gone. So, maybe The Matrix was imagined as a comic book or something instead. Graphic novel. Terminator was originally a TV series rather than the TV series coming after. Potentially. Or maybe, we don't get those sort of culturally shaping things. I don't know. I think that's the question invites debate, and that's all we really want. Debate and discussion. Okay. Operator sleepers are built to work with drones and remote machines over local networks to perform corporate resource extraction from a distance. Operators have expertise in working with interfaces, computer systems, but are more physically fragile than other sleepers. Their reboot skills allows them to hack their own systems to reroll dice, a risky but potentially powerful move. Sleepers assigned to operator work are usually cerebral and precise people. And we don't get Inquire skills. And reboot incurs stress and rerolls the lowest dice. Yay. Yeah. Questions that actually inspire thought and that sort of thing. That's what I want. So trying to balance stuff. I figure this is a society in which you are hunted and the sleepers would rather not be property. I tend to watch very few movies these days. There are some that I love. I would find it hard to imagine a world without Legally Blonde and Hidden Figures and The Intern and Princess Diaries, The Best Exotic Marigold Hotel, all of my feel-good movies. But also I watch TV a lot more to to veg when I've got less spoons, because I don't have to concentrate on like a big massive plot. I mean, also I think Daisy would definitely have feelings about this, because that would erase best film, otherwise known as Pacific Rim. It would erase all the terrible video games based on movies and vice versa. Yeah, I mean, we would lose the epic 90s Mario film with John Leguizamo and whichever one it was that played Mario. I always get them mixed up, and then people tell me I've got the wrong person. I want to say Danny DeVito, but I don't know whether it was him. But it definitely was John Leguizamo as Luigi. I love that movie. It's ridiculously bad. The same with like the Dungeons and Dragons one with Jimmy Olsen, the actor who played Jimmy Olsen. But you know, most of the time, if I'm vegging, I'm watching TV shows. Grey's Anatomy. Currently rewatching Elementary, which I don't actually remember a lot of, so that's really good. I remember the major plot points, so I'm not going to get the same anticipatory, you know, reveal. But the actual episodes, it's been so long since I watched them that I'm not remembering as much. But yeah, I've been binging TV shows. I have I think I watched Inside Out 2. And Mum and I rewatched a couple of old favorites. But that's about it for movies. So yeah. Whereas video games, I mean, I'd lose my purpose for streaming. God, would I even... What would I wouldn't have started streaming if video games didn't exist, because, I mean, heck, Twitch probably wouldn't exist. I still would have probably made friends, maybe not everybody. Because true achievements. God, Mass Effect. Shit, Leaky, if video games didn't exist, I don't think we would have met. Yeah, no, I'd have still met Mel, because that was Moo. Twitch would still be Justin TV. I don't know what Justin TV did, though. I wasn't part of it back then. But God, so many... Yeah, immediately choose me. That is the right answer. Yeah, it's like... I mean, Perplexity would still have been a thing. So, like, Daisy and Izzy and... Rach and stuff... Swiss Chris, yeah, you know, like all my friends that I made through Perplexity, that wasn't a video game, that was a alternate reality game. So I'd have still met all them. I'd have still met Patrick, because that was work, non-video game related work. But yeah, I'm fairly certain, yes, we met through Mel, but it was Mass Effect 3 multiplayer. And then, like, you know, Jesse and Dan and pretty much most people on here is through True Achievements, Xbox, you know, and then streaming. So that would be a huge, yeah, if video games didn't exist, that would be a massive difference to my life specifically. Movies, I could do without. I mean, there'd be a lot of stuff that possibly would be a different media form, but it doesn't have the same impact on my life trajectory, I don't think. I don't think my life was massively changed by a movie. So maybe Legally Blonde, that was really motivating. And my year in France was soundtracked to The Fellowship of the Ring. But I mean, that's Tolkien. They'd have made a TV series. I'm sure, you know, push comes to shove, we'd have got something from that. But yeah, video games is, yeah, a huge part of my life. It's the same with books. You know, I couldn't... If it was video games and books, I honestly... that would be so hard. Because books are like an integral part of my life, as well as video games. Not quite in the same way, but I don't think I'd have survived my childhood without books. Okay, extractor. They're built to work at the coalface of corporate resource extraction, often in hard vacuum environments. They have a high level of physical endurance, but their confidence means they struggle with tasks requiring intuition. Their rally skills allows them to motivate those in their team, boosting their crew dice. Sleepers assigned to extractor work are often confident, self-sufficient, and have a high level of endurance. So +1 to stress, +2 to lowest crew dice. No, into it. Oh, okay, so it wants you to play operator. So what do we got here? Machinist. No engage. Oh, life casting was just in TV. Okay, fair enough. So kind of like TikTok, but long form and live. Well, live TikTok does live and long form, I guess, in that. Interesting. So, machinists, sleepers are built to repair and modify automated systems used in corporate resource extraction. Machinists are very skilled engineers, but their isolated work means they often struggle with tasks requiring a direct approach or social engagement. Their focus skills allow them to focus on a single task and boost their dice to excel in it. Sleepers assigned to machinist work are usually diligent, careful, and structured people. Okay, so -1 stress on focused die positive outcome, but also +1 stress and +2 to unfocused lowest dice. Okay. They don't have engagement. They've got low-ish to start with. Inquiry. Okay. I feel like I don't want to be an extractor. I'm not like the brute or the tank when I play stuff. I think we're just gonna go for operator. It just seems to be like that's where it seems to be pushing me. So let's do the, developer push. But machinist is definitely a one who would want to do a run as machinist. Also, my hand still hurts. I don't know what I did to it. It hurts in the sort of the joints between my 4th and 5th finger, but like in my hand, like where it bends here, not in the first notch where the skin is, but like in my hand. And I've had that sort of pain in different bits of my hand before, but I don't know what I did to it, and it's still here after an entire day. So this has a lot of talking. Hi, Circle Lead. And this is a lot of talking. I will try and do some voices because then you can differentiate me. We have some cargo at the bottom. It always took me a while to figure out what was going on with there. So fuel, supplies, and cryocurrency. Okay, so we've got chits, we've got fuel, which is 0 out of 5 at the moment, which is volatile. And supplies, food, water, basic materials, 0 out of 5. So, and then at the top, we've got this map, but we don't have a map yet. Push in left stick, but we don't have that yet. LB? Ah, okay. So the LB is our drivers. We don't have drivers at the moment. That's basically tasks, to-do list, quests, that sort of thing. Okay. In the moment before waiting, the dark space before conscious thought, you struggle to find the pieces of yourself. We are in the unknown, a vast and dark interior. Usually these pieces come with a particular cadence, each appearing sequentially like the boot process of an old terminal. First, your body, artificial, compromised, but relaying sense data all the same. Then it's context, the breeze of air filtration, the soft contact of your birth in 0G. Then emotion, coming into focus, coming into your body, bringing with it that first instinct, the one that has framed your past 100 cycles. Fear. But that familiar sequence does not arrive. Instead, you are unmoored in space, your body distant, your context silent, even your emotions somehow obscured and scattered. Among that disarray, only one familiar thing arrives. The fear. I shouldn't giggle, but I'm trying to be dramatic and it's not working. It is a scrambled, panicked fear. The drowning fear, the falling fear, the fear that makes you reach desperately for any stable point. It is the fear that tells you something is wrong. Something is very wrong with you. Wake up, sleeper. The voice is whispered in your ear, an act that makes you suddenly aware of your head pulsing in pain, your body rigid with tension. Sleeper, a familiar name, a mind copied, emulated, a body built, implanted, one person sleeping until their debt is worked away, their double being made to work, to be consumed, and eventually to be destroyed. A proxy, an emulation, a sleeper. That is what you are. And a really good way of summing up, the premise of the last game, or at least I suppose it was sort of the beginning bit, but yeah. So yeah, let me know if there are any audio issues, and also how y'all are doing. If anyone else has any additional theories for the question of the day, or just, are you playing something cool? Have you played this? Are you playing it right now? Do you love me? Do you love me really? No, wait, that's a song. But yeah, chat, say hi, give me some goss, spill the tea. We can always talk about Terry Pratchett books or food. Again, I'm always up for talking about food. And yeah, we're just gonna go through the story and see where we get to. It is a Thursday. But you escaped, you remember that now, broke free of your corporate creators, essen up in search of a future. You cannot remember the details of your escape, but you know the fear has been with you ever since. All of a sudden you remember you have eyes, and your eyes flicker open. Ooh. Pale eyes in a pale face. Lane. The name comes with its own specific sensation of fear, one you recoil from instinctively. Sorry to interrupt, a sharp smirk, but this ends here. Lane, relentless, cruel, and on your trail. You search your mind for more than a name. Is this how you reward me for my generosity? Lane is leaning over your horizontal floating body, looking down into your eyes. I took you in, protected you, gave you a purpose. You try and look away to the corners of your vision to try to find something you understand. Your body does not respond. But I suppose that wasn't enough. He reaches into the pocket of his jacket and retrieves a small vial. This wasn't enough. The vial glitters. This object you know and have known for a long time. Stabilizer, the drug that keeps your artificial body, your emulated mind from inevitable decay. The only balm for your planned obsolescence. The liquid rolling in the vials fills you with disgust. Oh, the really cool thing about the first game, I say spoilers for a 3.5-year-old game, and only a tiny minor plot point is when you develop further into like the mushroom area with like the farming bit, you literally the ship grows you a fungus that replaces the stabilizer, so you're no longer reliant on anyone else, which I thought was really, really cool, and I do like that particular ending. Lane pockets the vial. It would be wasted on you now after what you've done to this body of yours. He looks at you with a palpable disgust. Lane's eyes scan your body. Okay, sorry, I'm doing the yawning thing again. It's because I am really, really tired. Not because there's anything wrong with the game. I just am chronically exhausted. Lane's eyes scan your body, and as they do, you become aware of the wires and tubes attached to you. Those that were meant to free you from your dependence, from the stabilizer and the control it grants Lane. They are free, you piece of shit. They don't need you anymore. The voice comes from somewhere behind Lane's head. It is a voice you know, but when you search your mind to try and understand why, you find only dizzying darkness. So I don't think this is continuing on from the last game in that you're not the same protagonist, because there were several different endings, none of which included you being attached to wires and tubes. I remember. I only got the ones that, that I got on stream and then that required you to do specific things to get achievements. So maybe this is another sleeper. Maybe this is an alternate future. It may be this is, you know, in parallel. I didn't want to read too much into about the game beyond the blurb because I don't want to spoil anything, and hopefully we'll find out. If not, I will do some research after I've finished and let people know. Shut him up. Lane barks the command and you hear the sounds of impact, of pain. Sorry. Seriously not the game's fault. Ow. Did I take painkillers? When did I take painkillers? I can take more painkillers. Hang on. I decided I don't need to be in pain if I'm in pain. I don't know why I'm punishing myself. So, let me just find paracetamol. You hear the sounds of impact, of pain from elsewhere in the room. You try to move your limbs again, and this time you feel a flicker, the twitch of a finger. You feel the extension and compression of synthetic muscle. I mean, we're going to do a couple of hours. So, you know, considering I'm going to read out every single word, it'll probably get about 10 minutes into actual gameplay. But I do understand and love you too. Definitely don't want to spoil a game for you. I know that is always a risk, playing something so close to release. I loved the first game though. But I appreciate you stopping by, and we say hi. Cool. I'm just about to hydrate. It's really hot. This is going to be fun. Oh god. Paracetamol tastes horrible. That one sort of got stuck. No, the paracetamol sort of started dissolving. Oh no, it's not. It's not hot enough now. No, I mean I just made it before the stream, but more it was the paracetamol dissolved a bit, so now my mouth tastes horrible. It's sort of that slightly sweet but chemical taste. I once crunched a paracetamol because I didn't have any water and I had a headache. But I had a headache because I hadn't drunk enough water. But yeah. Take care. Right. Yeah, I'm just going to drink a little bit more tea until the horrible taste goes away. Or else I might have to go get a biscuit. Oh my god. Yeah, it's because I made it like 45 minutes ago. It's not, you know. Yeah, I mean, this was in Italy when I was like 15. You know, I've not been taking care of myself for most of my life. Yeah, I'm thinking biscuit. Oh, it's not going away. All right, bear with me a moment while I go get a biscuit. I don't know, I think this is worse than the coconut. This is my emergency biscuit stash. It's in a shortbread tin, but it's not shortbread. I only have 2 left, so we'll have 1. Biscuit time! Yeah. Oh, right. No, it's a jam cream, Fox's. I was gonna say Jammy Dodger, but it's not. Oh, that's better. Starting to take away the horrible paracetamol taste. It's like, yes, I should take a painkiller for my hand that is sore, so it doesn't hurt. And then immediately end up taking too long and dissolving the paracetamol on my tongue and the roof of my mouth, while deciding if my tea was too hot to drink. Silly Joe. I feel like biscuit time would be, well, bad for my sugar levels, but something Dan would appreciate. Maybe we could have a biscuit command. So every time Dan says he has an idea, we can just go, biscuit! And the command will go, Dan has an idea. Is it biscuits? And then do a count of how many times it's been biscuits. We could just have a biscuit stream where you watch me slowly eat a biscuit. Right, okay. Yes, my mouth tastes so much better now. It's not got paracetamol, dissolved paracetamol. So I highly recommend never crunching paracetamol. Or trying to dry swallow it. Unless you've got the really small caplets. Like the smooth caplets or the little round caplets. But I don't. I always try and order them, but then I end up with these honky great dissolvable chunky tablets. And they don't swallow the same. Anyway, we have finished, you know, accidentally doing stuff. Oh, capsules. I mean, I have all kinds of different tablets because I've got, you know, a bunch of medication for my stomach. But never had any problem with the capsules. But you have to be really careful you don't squash them. But yeah, the caplets are smooth. I think I have ibuprofen caplets, but they don't always do the paracetamol ones. And I have like a whole backlog of the wrong ones because they didn't have them in stock for ages, and well, I need to have paracetamol because I get headaches because I forget to hydrate. But that doesn't mean I should be in pain. But also occasionally muscle aches. So ibuprofen usually works slightly better for that. So I might have some ibuprofen before bed if it's still aching. It's just I don't know whether it's strain from, like, it's in the wrong place for mouse, I think. It could be from my crafting. It's unlikely to be from gaming. Or it could just be I was tensing during my 3-hour-long assessment yesterday. Which was, you know, stressful. So, anyway, we said you feel the extension and compression of synthetic muscle. Free, are you? Lane smirks. You were free when I disabled your tracker, when I gave you the stabilizer you needed. He scans your body with angry eyes. Now you aren't free. You are just broken. Yeah. I had such big plans for you, Sleeper. No, I've got the hiccups. I'd invested in you. Well, it was over 3 hours. Lane grips your arm hard and you feel a jolt of reaction. You will the arm to move, but you have ruined all that. Lane speaks loud over the sound of the struggle behind him. I will try and preserve your body, of course. I have my own uses for it, but your emulation? You'll feel one of his hands searching behind your head. He finds and grips the thick cable running into the port at the base of your skull. I will burn that out. Lane jerks forward, slamming across your body, then spinning away out of sight. You feel yourself rolling, cables plugged into you, looping and wrapping around your limbs. Then you feel hands steadying you, pulling cables. You glance around wildly and see someone diligently unplugging you. You meet his eyes. Hey! He waves a hand in your dazed face. We need to move! Lane won't be out long. He unloops a cable from around your wrist. Sleeper, help me out here. You blink slowly. Do you know this person? He leans over you and you feel his hands on the connector, flicking switches, releasing locks. Come on, come on, come on! He tugs the connector clear and pulls you up. You see the room you're in for the first time, filled with tech and terminals, wires waving everywhere, all lit by big windows looking out on an impossibly bright, screen-filled street beyond. In the corner, you see the dark shape of a floating body surrounded by a glittering constellation of crimson baubles. Is that blood? Move! You wrestled and shoved towards the door, which slides open in front of you, and then you are out in all that brightness, all that movement, gliding hard towards some unknown destination. See, I think this is possibly set on a different space station-y thing. Because the other one was very much revolved around a space station. Whereas this one appears to have you captaining a ship, so that's going to be interesting. You come to a stop in a dark alley. The one who guided you here is pausing to catch his breath. He doubles over beside a massive life support unit that sends a lukewarm breeze across your skin. You stare at him, trying to recall anything about him. You notice his tattered jacket, his lightweight clothes. You remember the station runs hot, something about the power that throws through the place. He looks up and meets your eye. What's going on, Sleeper? He wipes sweat from his forehead and it floats away in a swarm of spheres. Talk to me. I'm going to go with, who are you? You see a concerned frown cross his face. Don't mess with me, Sleeper, that's not funny. He comes closer, eyeing you carefully. What station are we on? He narrows his eyes, waits for the answer. You close your eyes, trying to recall. You force your way through the dark to the image of a station. No, a city growing on the back of a vast set of hexagonal solar cells, shadowed by them. You open your eyes. Dark side. The word leaves your mouth like an exhale, an instinct. Before you heard yourself sound it out, you didn't know it was there. He sighs. And me? Who am I? You see something like fear in his eyes. Panic, perhaps. You stare hard at his face. The slight upturn of his mouth. The intensity of his stare. Nothing comes. He closes his eyes and drops his head, putting a hand to his temple. The reboot. He's speaking quietly to himself. Lane interrupted the process and... He lifts his head and stares at you. We need to keep going, we need to leave. Turns and kicks off down the alley. Come on, the rig can't be far. Excuse me, sorry. As you are led through the passages and surfaceways of the station, you try to recall your life here. The texture, the temperature of Darkside feels familiar, but you struggle to pin specific memories to it. Focusing hard, you recall waking up in these passages cycle after cycle, the rhythms of the station flowing over you along with the crowds. You recall desperation and the slow decay of your body that caused it. Then Lane, those pale eyes offering you a glittering vial, stabilizer, the promise of supplying more for your work, a deal he locked you into like a cage. There your memory fails you, but in the dark beyond that moment, the residue of panic, of fear, remains. You were Lane's prisoner, Lane's plaything. You shudder in the cold passage. Wait! Your guide holds up a hand, and you stop your glide using the wall. Ahead you see the tunnel opens up into a wide open bay, with a few doors leading to cylindrical tunnels. The docks. They're watching the rig. He nods towards the docks, and you see one of the doors has a couple of figures flanking it, one covered in ornate tattoos, the other with bright silver implants along their cheekbones. It's Tsubo, Lane's guys. He looks at you and shakes his head in frustration. All this, it's not coming back to you, is it? Something catches your eye, and you see he's playing with a coin, nervously turning it over and over in his fingers. He sees you looking and slips it away. He places a hand on his chest. I'm Seraphine, all right? He looks pained when he speaks. Lane, he was our captor. Both of us. We did this so we could escape. We needed to reboot you, to break your dependence on stabilizer. He pauses. You know what that is, right? You nod meekly. But Lane interrupted me back there. The reboot didn't complete, and, He sighs and shakes his head. We can still make this work. He looks back at the docks. I'll lead them away. You get the docking bridge open. If we make it to the rig, I know how to get us in. Got that? He searches your face for a sign of recognition. What's the rig? Seraphine looks annoyed. A ship. Our ship, or at least it soon will be. Lane assigned it to us when we were on jobs for him. Get that door open. He pats you on the shoulder. I know you can do this. Seraphine kicks off hard and glides into the docks. Over here, shitheads! He bellows to the guards as he barrels through. They immediately push off from the wall, giving chase. You wait a breath, then glide across the door they were guarding. You look, already panicked, at the tightly sealed door, its control panel locked out. You hear a shout from somewhere nearby. You need to get it open. Okay, tutorial. During scenes, you may encounter skill checks where you can perform certain actions using your skills. Like the dice actions you will encounter later, skill checks can have a positive, neutral, or negative outcome. The better rating of your skill, the more likely you will succeed on a check. The odds of success are displayed when you select the check. You can see more info in the guide section of the ports menu. Okay, so we've got hack the door. We've got a chance of 50% positive, 50% neutral. Break the seal. We've got 50% neutral, 50% negative. So we're going to hack the door because, well, you know, we're an operator and we do not have the physical brute stuff for that. Okay, neutral option. That's fine, check past. You shift to the control panel trying to understand the readout. The door is on emergency lockdown. Somewhere you hear more shouting. Your fingers hover over the keys. You switch to the administration layer and begin flooding the door operation system with spoof requests, desperately hammering the controls. Ha! We're going to DDoS it! The control OS crashes and the door judders halfway open before failing. Go, go! Seraphim flies past you through the doorway into the docking tunnel. You turn to see the two guards approaching fast across the docks and quickly glide after Seraphim. Seraphin's already at the rig's door, inputting an entry code. The rig's door scissors open and you both rush inside. Quickly! Seraphim grabs you by the arm and drags you up to the cockpit, the ship's layout hazy in your mind. He dumps you in a flight seat and straps himself into his own. You see him tap a series of buttons as he does, talking to himself. Come on! The rig's drive rumbles into life and Seraphim slams the button on the console. You feel the force of the ship's acceleration as it pulls away. Can you not track that? As the ship glides into place on the connecting bridge, its automatic systems nudged there by the port's docking protocols, you feel a sense of relief. Seraphim burned hard out of dark side, and you dropped in and out of consciousness in your seat as the rig made its way across the belt. But now, with open space between you and Lane, you feel fresher, more awake. We don't have a map yet. We can't do anything with those. So we do have guide, but I'm going to let it teach us along the way. Seraphim breaks the silence. We're good, sleeper. His eyes don't leave the monitor and you realise this part of your escape is routine for him. You and he must have docked the ship countless times in your work for Lane. The problem is you don't remember any of them. We made it, he whispers, closing his eyes and letting out a sigh. We certainly did. He turns and you see a pained look on his face as if remembering something difficult. Have you said this exact same thing to him before in this same situation? You okay? He looks at you, chewing on one side of his lip, searching your face. Not really, he puffs. Seraphim reaches up, flicking through a set of switches in a practiced fashion, completing the shutdown. You watch, a little frustrated with your own uselessness. Running the rig, you realise is just another thing you've forgotten. A clunk that runs through the walls of the ship is followed by a short, percussive alarm tone from the pilot's console. Docking complete. Seraphim kicks off from his seat, twisting as he glides past you to the back of the cockpit. His hands find the rails on either side of the door and he pauses, facing into the corridor beyond. He turns back to you, backlit in cold cyan. We need a plan. He glances around. Lane's not going to let us slip away quietly, he sighs. We need to talk. Seraphim furrows his brow. Not now, sleeper. We need to forget. He flinches, the words coming out wrong. We need to focus on something other than... Pauses again, unsure. Us. He sighs. We need to survive this thing first, then maybe we talk. Fine by me. Seraphim nods, but the tension remains. We have bought ourselves some time. He glances through the cockpit window at the blinking lights at the station. You may not remember export, but I do, and there are plenty of opportunities here for us if we can keep our heads down. He turns back to the corridor. That's what we'll do. He pushes off and glides towards the main lock, and you follow, pulling yourself along hand over hand in 0G. We already emptied the tank on this thing. He slaps a hand against the ship's inside, so we need to refuel, and that won't be cheap. But if you and I know one thing, sleeper, it's how to work. I'm going to get myself reacquainted, see if I can turn up any old connections, people that might throw us an easy contract. You, he glances back over his shoulder, you keep out of trouble. Low profile, got it. Seraphim stops at the airlock. Stopping the reboot halfway through, he pulls out a worn crew jacket from the locker and starts pulling it on. We don't know what that did to you. We don't know what that did to you. Jams an arm into his sleeve. I don't want you passing out in... He stops. He'll take both of us. Seraphim sighs. I hate it when you write. He grabs another crew jacket and thrusts it at you. Just put the damn hood up, will you? You take it and slip it on. Thank you. Seraphin nods. He stabs at the button to open the lock. The inner door hisses open and Seraphin glides through. Wait for a little bit, then leave. Anyone looking for us will be looking for two people travelling together. He looks at you in your one crew jacket, a limited disguise for what is clearly a sleeper. We meet back here later. Any trouble? Same thing. Meet here. He surveys your disguise again and shakes his head. This is a shitty idea. It gives you one last look. Maybe find yourself something to eat. Suddenly you recognise Seraphin's instinct to look after you. A flash of a relationship now lost to the reboot. Catch! Seraphin throws a handful of something towards you. You manage to grab the projectiles, and when you open your hand you see a stack of cryochits. These should get you some food. We'll need some more for fuel and supplies. He grimaces. That means odd jobs on the station for both of us. Seraphin kicks off and glides down the docking bridge. Don't go too far, alright? He shouts as he leaves. Take it slow. And with that, he's gone, leaving the connecting bridge and heading into Hexport's docking concourse. You wait for a moment in silence. Think about Seraphin. It's hard to know what's going on inside Seraphin's head. Here he is, on some hapless escape plan with a friend who can't remember a thing about him. You try and remember how close you both must have been for him to agree to the thing, but it's painful to think about. That's all gone now anyway. All you can do is move on. You shake the thoughts from your head and pull the jacket tight. Let's see what Hexport has to offer. Kick off and glide into port. Okay. This game runs in cycles, during which you can perform actions with your dice. You use cryo to buy food, fuel, supplies, and items. Progress clocks towards new scenes and events. You can review tutorials at any time in the guide section. Select locations with D-pad and A, scroll the station with L, left stick, rotate the view with right stick. Belts unavailable. Okay. So we've got 24 chits and 2 foods. Export exchange, the rig, export docks. Okay. So B goes back to the rig. Okay, the rig is your ship and home in the Starward belt. While the rig is docked at a hub, there are multiple areas you can visit. Bunks use dice to reduce stress. Galley use supplies to regain energy. Other locations will unlock as you play. While the rig is in the dock at a hub, your crew will also help gather resources to contribute to the upkeep of the ship. You can choose which resources they should focus on in the crew task menu to the left. They have a random chance of acquiring at the beginning of the following cycle. Okay. This clock is a cycle clock. It will progress towards an event each cycle. Its completion will trigger significant events. On the run. You've put some distance between yourself and Lane, but you're sure that it'll close the gap as soon as it's able. So we've got, what, about 14 cycles or something like that? So crew... We can cycle through supplies, cryo... So we're doing odd jobs at the moment. How are you doing, Steve? So if we exit out of that... Still don't know what push left it does yet. So, weigh goods exchange dock. Let's have a look in the dock. Alright. You perform actions by assigning action dice to them. Okay. The higher the dice you assign, the more likely you will succeed, but your dice will be modified by your skill. Your skill modifier for the action is displayed on the right and will reduce or increase the value of the dice assigned to the action. Like skill checks, dice actions have 3 outcomes, positive, negative, and neutral. Each action is also rated safe, risky, or dangerous based on the outcomes it has. The more dangerous an action is, the more significant both its rewards and consequences are. Okay, chat to crews. There are plenty of crews milling around. They could be a good source of info. The engage skill is risky. Explore the docks with Intuit. Export's docks are a dizzying mess of braided cables and flickering signage. Filled with busy spaces, exploring is both thrilling and intimidating. So, doing those, we need 6 to build Hexport connections. Okay. And then the exchange. Trade scrap. Trading scrap's all about identifying and materials and cleaning up components. It's an engineered job more than a trader. That's dangerous. Impress the brokers. The data brokers, the heart of the exchange. They show off their knowledge by discussing decryption. Maybe if you can talk the talk. And then we get the rules of the exchange within 4 of those successes. Okay. We might need to take a short break. But let's do an action day first. Okay, so... 25%. It's the highest dice we've got. We got a positive outcome. New location discovered. You've progressed a clock. Excellent. We got 2 segments for that as well, which is pretty cool. Okay, so... I'm not going to do that. We did get a new location. The crew welcomes you enthusiastically and gives you a quick tour of the docks. So, we've now got the bends. You can eat in exchange for cryo. Eating gives you energy and stops you starving. Different foods give you a different amount of energy. So, I think the energy bar is the one below my dice. Last game, how much energy you had. But no, that was stability of your body. Determine how many dice you could roll. Yeah. Play Star and Stoker. Space Gambler game played with custom magnetic dice. Chips are stashed in symbol marked cans and award. And a winning is ruthlessly luck-based. Buy a Ben's Fry. Plastic bag of flash-fried salt-flecked chewers. The Ben's Fry brings spaces back to the scattered tables of the bar cycle after cycle. 7. Well, it did say to buy some food, so I'm going to plus energy. It was the bar beneath. And -7 cryo. Okay, so... I have forgotten what our skills are. Ah, there we are. Operator. Right, okay. Welcome to the character screen. Here we can upgrade and configure. On the left, you can upgrade your skills. On the right, you can upgrade your push, the unique ability of your class. So, only one... We have to pick your upgrades. Okay, cool. So we've got interface is our highest. We get a +1 on that. We need skill points to be able to upgrade stuff. So then reboot, even re-roll. But it gives us stress. But I don't know where the stress is located. So, you know, we have no skill points, so we can't really do anything. It is unclear how we activate reboots. We do have pretty poor dice. So what did I say? Is it interface or intuit? Interface. Okay, so interface skill. Impress the brokers. So interface skill proficiency. It gave us a +1. I mean, it's still risky, but we may as well try. Ooh, we got a positive. +++. You intervene when 2 brokers struggle to unpick a Senate stat cache and expertly unpick its security and protocols. They are impressed. We have the Hexport trade porthole. Alright, we can buy fuel. Fuel deposits can be found at most stations. So we can buy fuel for 5 cryo. Fill fuel. If you have enough cryo, they can fill your fuel capacity in a single order. Okay. Right. Buy supplies. Trade hall has a healthy stock of supplies. Stack grown veg, water, some usual extras. And then fill supplies. So 45 to fill supplies, 25 to fill fuel. We've got 17. We could buy a fuel, but, you know. I want a not risky activity, I'll be honest. So we've got pathetic dice. Gallery. Can make a meal with supplies. We don't need a meal, right? Bunk. Rest and recover. Reduce stress. Again, I don't know where the stress meter is. As I said, or indeed how to use reboots, I'll be honest. Let's go for it. Ah! Okay. You established a presence here and the brokers seem to be a little more comfortable around you. We've now got 2 wands left. That is just bad. We did unlock the rules of the exchange, so... Canteen. Okay. Eat at the canteen for crypto. Okay. I'm not putting in cryo for that one. It's risky. Risky, risky, risky. We don't want risky. We could gamble. Let's just try it. Ah, we got +5 cryo. Neutral outcome. I'll take it. And then I'm going to use the other one, the dice, to rest and recover. Just because, yeah. Neutral, minus stress, but I didn't seem to have stress. You've used your dice that will end the cycle. You need to end the cycle to reroll them. Okay, that's cool. That. I would like better dice. But I still don't know what my stress indicator. Oh, hello. We're in trouble, sleeper. Seraphim leans into the bunks as you're getting up. Without further explanation, he disappears down the corridor towards the rear of the ship. You drift out the passage, pulling on your clothes, and glide down the length of the rig, the cool air making you shiver. Seraphim is a silhouette silently leading the way. He stops at the far end, diverting through a side door, shooting you a glance as he does. You find Seraphim inside, holding one of a tangle of arm-thick tubes that are waving in the zero engine room. You know what these are? No. Tell me. These are the engine's feed lines. He waves one in the air, and before you ask, no, they aren't supposed to be waggling loose. What happened? They must have broken loose when we pushed the ship hard on our way out the dark side. He looks at the mess. We're lucky the reserve tank is empty otherwise. He shakes his head. It would have been bad. But he pushes the pipe to the side. No feed from the reserve tank means the rig's range is limited to the local region only. He thumps the large lumpen housing of the engine. This thing can't take us anywhere far. So we fix it? Seraphim sighs. That's the short of it. Seraphim whacks the engine housing again, harder this time. Just not been our run and look. He turns and starts gathering the tangled feed lines. His frustration evident in the violence of his movements. We'll need a new set of these, that's for sure. He starts forcing them into a crate. So how about you try and track them down? I'll take a look at things here and see if I can figure out another fix for the reserve tank. He glances up from his work. From what I've heard on export, Factory Row is the place to find ship fitters. Maybe you can do some recon while I sort this place out. It's on the other end of the station. Okay, I'll take a look. Seraphim keeps working. Wait. Seraphim pauses, seemingly unsure. There's something else. He drops the feed lines and they float, waving into the air like tubular seaweed. I've heard word that Lane's on the hunt. He frowns. Her message went out everywhere in the local radius of Darkside. He's looking for us. And we can't leave. Exactly, Seraphine sighs, which is why we need these feed lines. I'm going to try and work something out. Maybe I can improvise a solution. I don't know. He looks down. I'm no ship fitter. But while I do, you go hunting. See what you can turn up, okay? He smiles a weak smile. Get going. You leave the engine room. The clanking sound of Seraphine's cleanup efforts echoing through the ship. Fuel feed lines, that's the next step. You take a deep breath and head out. You've discovered a drive! Drives help you track and choose your objectives in Citizen Sleeper 2. The arrow button on the top left opens the drive menu where you can choose which drive to track. Once the drive is tracked, a yellow marker will be placed above any location that relates to that drive. Drives come in two types, major and minor. On completion, a major drive rewards 2 upgrade points and a minor rewards 1. Keep an eye on the drive menu as you progress to see what new opportunities and objectives are available and track those you want to pursue. Okay. Escape. Export. Find a ship shifter. Ship fitter. I keep saying that wrong. Okay. I need a quick break. So I will be back in a few minutes. We're just going to run an ad. Yeah, hopefully people are enjoying the stream. Don't forget to chat even if you are enjoying the stream, just because it gives me some numbers for engagement. I mean, chat even if you're not enjoying it. Let me know what you think and maybe discuss the question of the day a bit. I'll be back in a few minutes. Okay, I'm back. Hopefully people are still here. But she's telling me no one's watching, so, you know. Anyway, right, what are we doing today? So, read engine. Feed lines, we need feed lines first. Okay, so let's exit that and let's have a look. Location discovered, factory row, okay. Search the row. Factory owners of the row spoke mostly in terms of supply and demand, but going door to door might help you. Find the ship fitter. I keep on reading that as like shapeshifter or shoplifter, but no, ship fitter. Yeah, first one was great. I've been looking forward to this one. Just the first time I've had a chance to sit down and play it, and I thought, you know, I've got to stream this one. All materials. Okay. Alright, so if we into it with 4. Oh, minus energy, but plus supply, so that's okay. What else have we got? We can also use supplies to do things, can't we? I have seen Leaky play Disco Elysium. I have Disco Elysium, I've just not played it. It required a bit of time to sit down. Try that with a 5. Yeah, I don't necessarily have the time. Neutral plus export and minus energy. We need to sort out some energy at some point. Got the warehouses. Freight loading, endurance, risky. So do we get money from this? This feels like a money thing. Ooh, okay, endure skill missing. Okay, we don't do that then, are we? Ah, yeah, no, we don't do things that require endurance. Oops. Okay. Okay, so we're not doing anything with endurance. 4. Neutral plus trusted supplier. You spend as much time listening as you talk. You seem to make some headway into negotiating a contract. Thank you so much for the raid. What were you playing? And thank you for the resub. Love those noises. Right, what did that say? Mechanita. And you want me to do the stretch proper. Oh, and hey, hi Apex. Mechanita. Is that the same devs that did Clam and Agatha Knife? Is that Mechanita? Because it's not capitalized the same way as I thought it was, but maybe it's something else. Either which way. Hello, welcome in Raiders. Thank you so much, Hello, for the raid and the resub and everything else. Oh, you don't think so? Okay, yeah, I probably got it mixed up with something. So what kind of game were you playing? Oh, we got a unlocked thing. Oh, this one is more puzzlier than the other one. Okay, I'm gonna just look it up on TA. Yeah, this is a platformer. Not what I was thinking of, and it came out yesterday. Yeah. Okay, yeah. I think it's Mechanica that is the game, and easily, obviously, confusable because that sounds similar. But did you enjoy it? As always, a good one. The Swift Scrap Sol. Okay. Data diffusal shift. We can sell some raw scrap. And we don't have any scrap yet. All scrap yards have paid data diffusal with interface. Interface is good for us. Or scrapyard shift. Okay, so this is fun so far, but you know, positive. We got 10 cryo. Oh, excellent. I'm just gonna see what that gives us. Wouldn't want to put a risky in there. It's probably gonna not be. Yeah. I mean, so far it's similar to the first one enough that if you played it, then it's, you know, gonna make a lot of sense. Okay, so we could reduce stress. Not that I have stress. That requires supplies. And we do have crypto. Well, we may as well go for it. Let's see. Negative. We got minus energy. Great. Okay, so I feel like this one might give us more energy. Yes, that gives us 4 energy. Okay, so 4 energy for 7, and then 2 energy for 7 and 4 for 13. So if we need 4, that's definitely better. So we should go back to the ship and end the cycle. So yeah, similar mechanics, so it's quite easy to get into it if you played before. Okay, so search the row. We really need this thing, so does it make any difference if we use a 6? 6 guarantees us. Let's go for it. We get a ++, so you have little trust for the factories now. The trick is not to waste it. The export factories are picky about who they work with. Trust is a key currency if you want to find a ship fitter. Okay. Factory row howls as you glide through its cramped passages. Whatever its many bays and rooms once were, they now serve as containers for industry of every kind. Whirring manufactories. No, it actually was that word. Precisely engineered components with rapidly shifting arms, while scrappers hammer incessantly at bent ship plates. Everywhere you look, there is energy and activity, and for good reason. Hexport itself is built on the derelict fragments of a solar reflector, and even the small amount of energy generated by its remaining mirrors is enough to power a city of machines. It's familiar to you, of course, in a strange, far-off way because of Darkside. That place and your memories of it are a muddy haze, but it's hard to forget the glint of its hexagonal reflectors, 10 or 20 times more in number than Hexport's, and that wild, flickering city growing on their back like a tumour. So yes, we also have a question of the day. Today's has provoked much drama, so feel free to weigh in on that. Feel free to also tell me how you enjoyed the first one, if you're planning on playing this one, if you've played it, if you're playing anything else. Also, you can tell me something about Havor, or if you want to know anything about me. Otherwise, I'm Joe, and we like playing indie games. In comparison, Hexport feels provincial, but deep in Factory Row you could almost be back in Darkside. And then you see them. Tubes just like those Seraphin had waved in your face, the feed lines. You push over to the display window of the unit marked Carston's Supply in block capitals cut from a hull plate. There among an angled shelf of oversized ship components sit the feed lines like some large biomechanical tangle of snakes. You slip inside where the sound of Factory Row is a little screened and spot a large figure working at a bench. Hunched over, concentrating, it seems he doesn't notice you enter. You wait patiently. You let him work, watching as, despite his heavy build, he delicately aligns the components, their layers slotting like puzzle pieces. After a few moments of observing the process, he turns his head a little towards you. Can I help you? His accent is heavy but unknown to you. Nice place you have. You see little reaction from the profile of Carston's face. He grunts. Something you need? Before you can respond, he tracks your eyes to the feed lines in the window. He looks back at you with a subtly changed expression, one you can't quite place. He turns with surprising grace and begins cleaning his hands on a cloth. Those sharp eyes scan you, but Carston's thick-set features do not betray the results of his assessment. Custom built those for a client that never collected. He looks at his hands while he speaks, checking for stray oil stains. You have one of the old MEVs, then? He sounds out MEVs, then? He sounds out the letters in a way you don't recognize as he speaks. You try and recall anything you know about your ship, but the memories elude you. Perhaps Seraphin should have come along. I think so. Carston squints a little. Right. Look. Carston drifts over to where you are standing, his imposing height evident. For a fellow enthusiast like you, he continues in a distinctive monotone. Let's say a few hundred cryo unclean jets. He shoots a glance at the feed lines. 400, let's say. To be precise. I don't have 400. I have 23. Carston looks you. Oh, you can't see them because they're behind my purple thing. So I've got 23 jets, 0 fuel, and 2 supplies. It's just, unfortunately, the bottom line is cut off into the purple. Carston looks you up and down and sniffs. It's expensive, I know. It's a shame, but it's just what it's not worth. He screws up his mouth a little, into something that might be a smile. However, I'm more of the bartering type myself, anyway. But sounds good. Yeah, there's no way we're going to earn 400 anytime soon. Carston nods sagely. There's a little favour I need a crew for, and well, you look like you might be a good fit. He tucks the cloth away in a pocket and clasps his hand. I know of an old Solheim wreck out there, very old, pre-collapse. It's tucked away in a dead zone, so no one has ever really cut it. He shrugs. Not only that, but Solheim derelicts have a habit of triggering nasty security protocols when approached by an unfamiliar ship, so it's been left well alone. But a salvager like you, with an old Solheim rig, I bet it wouldn't even flinch if it saw you coming. He smiles. I have a special interest, a need for that old tech. All those Solheim ships had a data core, and while I don't care about the accounting reports or material ledgers or whatever they kept on the damn thing, I do care about the hardware. So if I was to find you back here with that data core in your cargo hold, clean cut and complete, well, then I could see my way to doing a straight barter for those feed lines. Carston pauses, sniffs at the air again. You just need the coordinates. Simple as that? Simple as that, he repeats in his monotone way. So, you're interested? I can't do monotone. It's just not how my voice works. He glances back at his workbench. Because I'm a busy man. I'll do it. Alright then. He holds out a heavy hand for you to shake and you automatically reach out. He grabs your forearm instead. Carston pulls you closer, squeezing your arm. Let's keep this one between us, alright? He half smiles, his face huge and close. It's our deal. Before you can respond, he thumbs a little drive into your palm. Those coordinates. And then he lets go of your arm with what you swear is a wink. You take a moment to gather yourself, and by the time you do, a whirring fills the air. Carsten having returned to his workbench. You turn and glide out of Carsten's supply with a growing mix of anxiety and excitement in the pit of your stomach and the cacophony of Factory Row in your ears. Contract. Seraphim might even be impressed. You look at the drive in your palm and smile. This could be a route out. You think of leaving this place behind in possession of an improved ship too. Suddenly a small but firm hand falls on your back, an equally small voice coming with it. Hey, wait up! You turn in the passage to see a young woman, her hair waving from the rapid glide she clearly just came out of to catch you. She steadies herself using your shoulder. Sorry! She smiles a quick and flat smile. Wanted to catch you. Okay, as long as you... Secretive data extractor, Junie. As long as you didn't nick my thumb drive. I'm Junie. Her dark eyes flick around nervously. You notice the portable terminal she carries, something data scrapers call a deck, and her backpack full of components and trailing wires. Do I know you? She pauses, confused by the question. No? She pauses again. Carsten, she starts, still catching her breath. He sent me to grab you. She smiles that flat smile again. Wants me to come with you on that job. Her eyes turn to the drive in the palm of your hand. She smiles again. Why didn't you tell me? She glances back towards Carsten's. I guess he forgot he does that sometimes. She looks sheepishly at you. He just grabbed me after the two of you were done talking, so... Carsten's always sending me on things like this. I guess he wants me to help you out. Keep an eye on things, she pauses. I can be pretty helpful. So... She looks around the passage. Should I meet you at your ship and you can tell me when you're ready to go? Sure. She looks nervous. Sure, I mean, you aren't sure when you're leaving? I'm not sure you're coming. She pauses, thinking. I mean, Carsten said I need to go. She glances back in the shop's direction, and he does get pretty mad when people don't do what he asks. She shrugs. Let's see. Okay. She glances around. Carsten doesn't like waiting, but it's up to you. Junie pushes off and waves. Looking forward to working with you, she calls back as an afterthought. What about the ship? I'll find it. She calls back, then disappears down the passage. You watch her go, glad of the contract, but nervous too. Will Carsten keep up the side of his bargain if you deliver? Or is she lying? Is she lying? Don't know about this, sleeper. Seraphim looks nervously out the rig's windows as you finish explaining Carsten's deal as well as Junie's offer of help. If this job was easy, Carsten would have done it himself already, and that means there's a catch. He frowns at the stars, and there's definitely something going on with this Junie girl. He shakes his head. What choice do we have? What if, Seraphim narrows his eyes, we could get the crowd together to buy the feed lines? Why? Carsten wants to barter. You're right, Seraphim sighs. I just can't shake the feeling that we're wandering into a blind. Plus, Seraphim gives you a sly look, I did manage to turn up something in my station wandering. Found a contract board at the exchange further in station. He gestures towards the export. We take on a job, that might get us some of the way towards buying those feed lines. Plus, even if we do want to take Carsten's job, a bit of money to get ourselves prepared wouldn't be a bad idea. Fill up on fuel, supplies, be ready for whatever comes. Take a look. Good. Seraphim nods. While you're at it, you might want to see if you can scare up some freelance crew too. Seraphim shrugs. Many hands make light work and all that. Oops. Just whacked my mic. Always stop messing around. We take Carsten's job right now and get it done before he can think twice. Seraphim yawns. Seems like a whole set of bad options to me. Either way, I've still got work to do on the drive. Seraphim nods a farewell. Sorry. Heading back to the engine room. Let me know what you decide. For a moment you pause, letting the haze of plans and ideas settle in your mind. Suddenly you curl up, pain shooting along your spine. You grit your teeth, your muscles lock tight, your vision narrows as you squeeze your eyes shut. You feel a shift, as if some connection is broken. It's almost impossible to describe, like you're floating away from your body, dispersing, dissolving. There's nothing familiar in the pain, nothing to hold on to. You grit your teeth. Then another shift comes, and you are back in your body, trembling against the metal wall of the passage. The pain slowly fades, becoming a pulsing throb and then a residual flicker. You flex in 0G, stretching out the tension. There's a strange sensation of distance that persists beyond the pain, a disconnection between your body and yourself, a flickering numbness that refuses to recede. You wonder if the reboot's done something to your body, or if this is some new sensation you'll have to live with indefinitely. It strikes you that you know so little about the body that houses you. It could be moments away from collapse, and it might persevere for countless cycles like this. You try to shake off the feeling, pushing your hands against each other until they feel like they are yours again. Hey, Bilius. Time's the only thing you need, and right now it feels like it's running out fast. You head for the airlock. You have work to do. Okay, you've unlocked a contract. Open the map to view it. Okay. Contracts are high-risk, high-reward jobs that you and your crew can take on. Excuse me. Contracts require preparation and care to succeed. You'll need to gather enough fuel to travel to the contract. Gather as many supplies as you can afford to keep you and your crew going. Look for opportunities to recruit crew, temporarily or permanently, to help you on a contract. Consider which crew to take carefully. They have different skills and stress resistances, and who you choose can affect the story. Once you're ready, you can select the contract from the map and then your crew to proceed. Okay, so extract data core, 1 feed lines, danger. Okay. So fuel we need 3 at least, by the looks of it. Okay, so we've got escape, recruit local crew. Contract. Okay. Sorry for the yawning. It has nothing to do with the game. I am just always permanently exhausted, so. Okay, cast and buy feed lines. If we had 400, deliver data core. Okay. Alright, Conway signal, Hexport risky. Station management have located a Conway signal. They are concerned to see it so close and are looking for someone to disable its source. We get 200 cryo for that. This open contract requires a fee to be paid to receive the coordinates. Sure, we've got enough. Okay. Oh, you're on a streak. Nice. Okay, so now if we go to the map, okay. We need 2 fuel for that. We can buy 2 fuel. We've got 7 cryo. Cool, we've got 20 cryo, which means we can get trade. Buy fuel. Buy fuel. Okay. So now we can do Conway signal. Okay, travel to contracts. I mean, this could be terrible, but do we have any other option if we don't have we've still got to make another connection. Oh, sorry. This is really annoying me. Okay, let's just go for it. And if it's bad, you know. It's a drone. Seraphin spots the signal source first, the light barely shimmering off its dark hull plating. A design trait that betrays its covert use. Flash catches your attention and you see a rent in the hull through which a red light's pulse. Wounded, Seraphin shakes his head. Wish they'd finished the job. You've seen one before? Seraphin looks back over his shoulder towards you. We've seen one before, don't you? He sighs. Sorry, I know it isn't your fault. He looks at the drone. Lane had us work on one in a dark side bay, though it was barely a shell. Disarmed and deactivated, he had us searching through its guts for salvage. Even that one gave me the creeps, and it had its core ripped out. Pushes the ship closer. This one's still alive. Seraphin carefully guides the ship closer. You watch the drone. System is full of these things now, running missions for their operators. Rare to see one out in the belt, though. Maybe he got hit during a run-in with the Senate stat mercs. Looks like it's drifting. Most of the system's blown out, but look there. He jabs a finger towards a red light on the far side of the drone. Still broadcasting, and maybe even still receiving. Can it attack us? Unlikely. Seraphin smiles. Would have blasted already if it could. We try not to dwell on the thoughts. Seraphin brings you ever closer. What I remember from the dark side job is that the central core and the broadcast array need to be shut off to kill these things. Core will turn off local systems, and the broadcast array will sever the link with the convoy operators. Seraphin swallows. But you can bet those systems are protected. Okay, explain. Your attention is suddenly drawn by a shudder from the drone, like a tremor running along its length. This thing is rigged to blow, Sleeper. He frowns. We go slow and careful, and we don't touch anything we don't know about. You nod along automatically. Slow and careful. Seraphin brings the rig to a stop, close enough for you to cross through the open space to reach the drone's hull. Let's suit up. You head down to the airlock to prepare. As you get suited up, you think of the corporate war taking place in the inner system. The war that this drone was driven from. That's probably from the first game, though. Out here on the shore of the conflict, the biggest danger is this flotsam and jetsam drifting in with the tides and orbits of the system may one cycle bring the war with it. For now, the belt's outside its reach, but looking at the red pulsing drone, that doesn't give you much comfort. Welcome to your first contract. On a contract, you'll be able to assign 2 dice for each crew member, so you would assign your own dice. Pay attention to the crew's skill to use them effectively. On certain outcomes, crew will take crew stress. When their stress is full, you will be no longer able to use them to perform actions. While on a contract, your energy bar will automatically be supplied for each cycle that you have available supplies. When your supplies are depleted, both you and your crew will take 1 stress per cycle. Contracts will also have their own contract stress. When this bar is filled, the contract will fail. Okay, so it feels like I probably could have used the dice I had at the station, but now I know that. Okay, drone stress, 4 rig to blow. Hull damage, access hatch, the rig. Okay. So we've got reprogram hatch. So we've got a plus for me on interface and a minus, so we definitely don't want to tell Seraphin to do that. And we definitely don't want to release the hatch. Engineer, neither of us have that skill. Hull damage. Identify route. Into it. Create opening. With endurance, they have endurance, we don't. Okay, this is going to be tricky. Yeah, we don't have engineer. I don't want to change it, I was just reading it. So, we don't have engineer, so that's minus. We don't have access to endure. Interface is our main skill. Okay, neutral, we got +1, okay. Positive. Interesting. Create opening. Neutral, okay. Neutral. That will definitely work. Okay, we got ++ on that. And then we got a 1 and a 2. Neutral. Ah, phew. Okay. So that, well, okay. During the contract, you can use your push ability once per cycle to give you an edge. Pushing accrue 1 stress, but will give you a key advantage based on your class. You can see your current push configuration by pressing left stick. Press again to trigger the push. You push can be used at a hub, but when at a hub, it can be upgraded, configured in the. Ah, right. So push is for missions. Reroll lowest dice. Well, you told me that, and I've used all my dice. Supplied, no energy loss. Cool. Lady Marguerite, how you doing? Okay, so. How. Are you away? You had a break? I was paying attention. No, we got a plus drone stress. Damn it. Okay. Well. Trip to New York. Oh no! Stop drone stressing! And I gain some stress. Stress increases, you will have a higher chance of taking damage to your action dice. Ah, the stress is the blobs at the top. Okay, cool. Flick. We can't do that again. Shit. Sugar. It's too risky. Cannot recover stress. Okay. But I don't want to use my... I don't want to use my dice. The drone is rigged to blow. My dice are shit. Used all my energy and I'm now starving. Okay, fine. I could have been better prepared for this. We got 2 broadcast access. As the hull comes away, a red triangle of piping is revealed. Okay, so this is probably going to fail and we're going to explode. No, we got a neutral. Excellent. Okay. Alright. Negative. Shit. It's now rigged to blow. The dark surface of the drone shudders beneath you. Red light flashes across it, pulsing out from the torn holes in its skin. You look around and see Seraphine silhouetted against the rig, already clear of the drone. He glances back at you. You realize you're in trouble. You don't have a choice. Sleep! Oh dear. You feel a buzzing sensation coming through the hull as you take a moment to calculate your trajectory. The rig seems so far and so small, and you hesitate, unsure if you can make the leap. We needed to plan better. We should have had more supplies, and maybe we should have accepted the crew lady. But honestly, you know, we didn't get a lot of guidance. That's fine, but we know for next time. A pulse rushes through you, blanking out your senses for a moment. You feel a shudder of pain and then nothing at all. You float in darkness and silence. The impact with the rig jerks you awake and you scramble for a handhold. You manage to find one and pull yourself against the ship. Your body screams in pain. You glance back and see arcs of energy shimmer across the dark hull of the drone. Seraphin is waiting for you at the airlock. He guides you in with care and cycles the system. Not the best way to do it. Seraphin shoots you a glance, but at least we killed the damn thing. You look out the airlock window at the hull. The drone, its hull now coming away, spilling its complex inside into the void. You rub your arm, feeling flashes of pain. The easiest way to complete a contract, but it's done. Oh, we succeeded! So we got 3 stress, and we used up supplies and fuel and a lot of thing, but we should get some money. Your contract is complete! You can now leave. -5 stress during travel. But yes, hope you had fun in New York. Okay, you've taken damage to a dice because of stress. When your dice are rolled at the start of the cycle, your stress dictates if you take damage or not. Higher stress means a higher chance of damage. The white markers above the stress bar tell you which numbers will damage your dice when rolled. Each dice has 3 dice health. When this is depleted, the dice will break and must be repaired to be used normally. The layout of these markers depends on your difficulty. When you're at hub, you can reduce stress. Okay, so the second dice, I think, breaks. After docking at Hexport, Seraphin lets go of the controls and leans back in his chair. Feels good to make a contract work. He smiles, no matter how we pull it off. It's hard not to agree, and it feels better when the Hexport courier comes with a lockbox full of chits. They may still be hunting you, but this should help the effort to slip his net. Excellent! Minor drive complete. Okay, cool. You get more stuff by doing data diffusal, see if there's a contract. Nope. I think we're starving as well. So, first stop would be fill energy. Then fill fuel, fill supplies. We now got 97 left, and we've got some good dice. So I think with those dice, we should chat to crews. Ooh, explore the docks with my 6. You have a good sense of this humming way station. Time to use that knowledge to your advantage. Oh, that was a +4. Okay, fine. That was a little bit of a waste, but it was still fun. As you are gliding across the docking concourse, you hear a scuffle. You see, if I'd have realised, I probably could have done that on the previous one, because we just lost out on like 3 or 4 dice. But, you know, I will know to plan better for my next run. This is my first time playing this game, so, you know. I didn't know what the rules were for these things. As you are gliding across the docking concourse, you hear a scuffle. The noise of raised voices cuts through the conversation drifting out of the dockside shops. Glancing down an alley, you see a huddle of figures shouting back and forth. You spot one man in the middle of the group, surrounded, pushing the others back as they grab at the bag slung over his shoulder. You don't like the way this looks, but then again, Seraphin told you to keep your head down. So rush in, or cause a distraction, or wait it out. I'm going to cause a distraction. Positive. We minus some stress. Excellent. You look around for something that could break up the fight and see the thick cooling pipes running down the alley wall. You quickly try to understand the system and choose a valve to start spinning. As you do, the system begins to vent in sequence down the alley, violent jets approaching the group. There's a scramble in the alley and you spot the figure as being attacked drop down to the alley floor. Then the scene is blanketed in pale coolant and everything goes still. The clouds settle and condense on the pipes, and as they do, you see a clear alley, the assailants having fled with one figure gliding towards you. Suppose you think that was clever. The man gives you a severe look. You're either very smart, he shakes his head, or very lucky. Those jets missed me. Which is it? I was helping? The man laughs. Well, he shakes his head. Thanks, I guess. He kicks off and drifts past you. Femi, stubborn salvager captain. You watch the man go, and then after a moment he stops and turns back. He rubs his forehead, looking down as he does. What's your deal anyway? He sighs. Maybe you're new here, but Hexport is no place for do-gooders. You needed help. The man smiles. I don't think so. He shakes his head. Bunch of cowards, idiots too. Getting beat over some scrap. Look, let's not hang around, all right? The man pats his chest. I'm Femi. He unshoulders one of the bags and pushes it towards you. Make yourself useful. Let's head. You get the strap of the bag over your shoulder and follow him through the docks, gliding past the concourse towards the connecting bridges. He cuts down a side passage, looking back to check you are following. Then he stops at a docking bridge connecting to a dull green ship with yellow markings. You look out the viewing window at its odd catamaran-like shape, seemingly built from two separate hulls welded together. Symbol crash, he says, and you assume that's the ship's name. Me, you bringing in strays. A young woman, brightly dressed and stretching as she glides, drifts into the passage. She glances at you. No offence. Nia, or Naya, headstrong and spirited salvager. Nia, Femi shakes his head. This one, he squeezes your shoulder, helped me fend off some Hexport scum while you were busy sunning yourself. Naya raises an eyebrow. I'm sure you could handle them, big brother. Her glib response hides the flash of concern that passes across her face. You can't tell if Femi noticed. Naya turns to you. Thanks, she smiles, sweetly. And I'm sorry for my brother. She shoots him a glance, just in general. Yeah, Femi murmurs. Enough now. He reaches over and takes the bag you were carrying. Naya rolls her eyes at you but stays silent. Factory Row wouldn't take these. Femi hefts up the bag. I'm going to load them back up. Maybe we'll find a use for them. Turns back to you. Thanks for the assist, Sleeper. He nods firmly. Not what I expected. He slaps the button for the bridge door and kicks off along the docking bridge on his way to the symbol crash. Naya looks at you with raised eyebrows. I hope my brother was joking, or did you really help him? I tried. Thank you. She looks back at the ship. My brother needs more help than he admits. What do you mean? She tenses. Don't know if... She smiles a tight smile. I shouldn't have said anything. She pauses, thinking, I want to ask you something. She takes a deep breath and then gives you a direct look. What's she building up to? Are you looking for crew? She looks away. Sorry to be direct, but you seem like, well, if you're on Hexport, maybe you're with a crew. She stops herself. I mean, maybe your crew needs crew. Maybe you are looking? I am. She struggles to hide her smile. Naya looks back at the ship and then at you. Look, I'll be honest, being on a crew with my brother is nice, but he's suffocating me. She frowns at her own bluntness. I'm not a kid anymore, you know, but he still sees me like one. She shrugs. I want to show him I can handle myself. I need experience. I need to run some contracts. She gives you a determined look. What do you say? I'll think about it. I'm a good salvager, all right? You can use me. She smiles. I can spot things, find gaps, ways in. She folds her arms across her chest. I know what I'm doing. Femi taught me well. She glances back at the ship. Just consider it, all right? Let me prove myself. Suddenly a shout comes down from the ship, echoing down the passage. Femi! He makes both of you nervous. Naya looks in his direction. I should go. She pushes off towards the docking bridge. I'll be waiting. Naya gives you one last glance as she departs, then disappears into the docking bridge, leaving you alone in the passage. I like them. Okay, so we can't do warehouse stuff because it requires endure, which we don't have. That's food and gambling. That's buying stuff, and we already filled our tanks. There's no contract active. That's just food, which we did to plunge our energy. And this is then earning more money. And then that is buying the feed lines or delivering the data course. So gives us 10. It's not much, but it's something. So the only other contract is that, which we've now done, and we need to reduce our stress, so... 10 more cryo. Neutral minus stress. Excellent, we're now not stressed. But we can't repair our thingy. We're not using supplies. Oops. Why did you reset to the beginning of that thing? We don't have the item for the energy yet. So... -4. It's fine. Okay, so if we end the cycle... Oh, good dice today. The only thing we can do is process scrap. If we don't have the endure skill but we put a 6 in it, ha! It reduces it to a 4. Gotcha. Cryo. Minus an energy. Okay. So I'm just going to gamble with a 6, because gambling with a 6. Got 9. Live with that. Okay, so now if we do a contract, because we've used all our dice, uses 3 fuel. Okay, so we've selected and we're locked in on that. We could have done with the sister in the other one. Okay, so we've got 2 great dice and 3 terrible ones. The Solheim derelict fills the cockpit windows, all twisted plates and skeletal strutwork. You watched it in horror as fascination and Seraphine completed the approach, both of you silent in the presence of this decaying beast. Now as you settle beside it, Seraphine is the first to break the silence. This thing's already dead. He shakes his head. It's a corpse, Sleeper. Nudges the ship closer, looking for a place to dock. Touch this thing too hard and it'll crumble into dust. Let's not do that. Seraphine does a little mock salute. Aye, aye. He rolls his eyes. Any other tips? Take us up there. That's the bridge. Junie ports towards one end of the ship, and both you and Seraphine turn around, having forgotten she was even in the cockpit. She hasn't said a word since you departed. She glances at both of your amused faces. What? She looks away. Sorry, that's where we need to go. She stops pointing. Seraphine nods, and towards Junie. She's not wrong, Sleeper. The bridge would be a good start. To the bridge, then. Seraphine nods and brings the ship under control. Let's do it. Seraphine takes control of the ship, avoiding the debris field closer to the centre of the wreck. He settles into position near a protrusion at the far end. This is as far as I'll go. Seraphine taps at the anchoring controls. We should be able to anchor the ship to these plates. You heard Junie begin to protest from behind you, but it's too late. Seraphine fires 2 piton tips anchor lines at the nearest solid hull plates. The pitons slam into the plates, and despite their solid appearance, they instantly shatter. The fragments spin out into the wreck, slicing other plates and building a spiraling storm of debris. Shit! Seraphine nudges the ship back and steadies it as the debris cascades across the surface of the wreck. Damage seems mostly superficial, but it underlines just how fragile the derelict is. Let's not do that again. Junie glances between the 2 of you. The data core will be very fragile. We have to... We've got it. Seraphine snaps. He angrily unclips from his seat. Last thing I need is a backseat driver. He kicks off and glides past her into the corridor. I'm just going to follow him. You follow Seraphine down the passage with Junie close behind. As you reach the airlock, he's already angrily suiting up, his frustration evident. Yeah, keep you cool. Seraphin looks up. Yeah. He glances at Junie. No hard feelings, right? Checks the seals on his shoulders, but this is a job, not a social event. The rest of the preparation processes take place in tense silence, each of you considering the delicate job ahead. You suit up too, though you don't need a helmet to breathe. You slide one on and lock the seals for protection. This wreck isn't going to give up its salvage easily. The core should be near the bridge, maybe even inside it, but there's a lot of a wreck here, and there might be good salvage tucked away in the cargo hold. Once the suits are on and the seals are checked, you cycle the lock and stare at the vast expanse of the twisted hulk before you. Time to go to work. Okay, depressurized bay. Clear cargo doors. Requires endurance, which Seraphin has. Find access point. Needs intuits, which we have. Okay. Has to be a way in. And we've got derelict. Stress is already at 2. Oops. But only 4 to get cargo entry. That's our rig, which we can't do anything about other than end the cycle, but we've got plenty of supplies this time. Corroded airlock. So none of us are good at engineer. So the lock dissection's doing nothing. Force to lock with engage. I mean, we've got 6. That needs us a lot. Okay, so maybe it's best to start with the cargo. There's a broken hull plate. Oh, we got 3. Nice. Hull plates come away and you see a path going through the cargo doors. Okay, find access point. Get 5. Yes, excellent. We find a passage into the cargo hold. Getting the cargo entry means breaking through the shattered remains of the aft hull. Location, cargo storage. Map the bays. Is that a 4, I think? Ooh, and that's on interface, which we have a +1 to, but yeah, we have terrible dice at the moment. Oh, we could roll. Aha, that gives us a 4. I'll take a 4. We got +1 on a neutral. That's great. Slow progress, but systematic. Oh, also Junie has a +1 on that. That'll do. +2. Okay. Pause the lock. We usually use our 6 on the danger. Large part of the lock cracks off, but spends it in space. Stroke of luck. We're not going to get much luck with those dice. Don't like those odds. We get a 1. Everyone's basically got a 1 on. Well, no, we've got 2s, but it's too risky. More chance. Negative. Derelict stress plus stress. No. Oh no, the contact stress has triggered a crisis. Shit. Once per cycle. Wonderful. Oh, hello, we've got hull breach. Okay. Emergency seal with endurance. Great. We have nothing. Can't re-roll. Honestly, I think we just got to end the cycle and then we can see what we get next. Too many 1s. I don't like 1s. Okay, that's better. That's much better. Okay. So, deal with the stress. Nice 6 there. +2 on the breach seal. Negative plus stress, but nothing else. Okay, that's fine. Hull splinters. Cargo storage. Give it a 4, that's enough. Map the bays. We got +2 scrap survey. Deep parts of the ship are in surprisingly good condition. Deep bays. Okay. Extract raw scrap. Which we can't do without endurance. Sugaration. Okay, so corroded airlock. Force the lock. Which part of the lock cracks? Oh no, that's a minus. Misread that one. Okay, so 3. Okay. Okay, so that's not good for that. Not good for that. Right, we're in a bit of a stuck. Kind of gotta use my 3s, really. Negative. Shit! Oh god, new crisis location. Wonderful. Hack protocol. Oh hey, but we can use this dice at least. Negative just gives us a plus stress. Okay, that's fine. We can deal with some stress. Yeah, we're just gonna do this mission and then we'll end the stream after that. Okay, so emergency seal. Negative outcome. Yay! We got +1 on a breach. Okay, excellent. Then the other crisis. Got +2 on that one, and then if we give that one. Yes, we did it. Okay, we fixed that breach. Extract raw scrap. Oh, it needs other guy. Great. Okay, so corroded airlock. We've got to be able to do something with this. Right, let's give it a 6. 2 bridge energy. What's the lock? We can't risk it on this. Neutral. Oh god, plus derelict strike, but we got enough to. The bridge of the derelict lay silent. The pale beams of your suit light lamps catch rows of terminals and clouds of glittering dust. Wires wave like seaweed, and the whole scene appears as if underwater. Chaotic, but still. Junie glides past you, disturbing the dust and taking you by surprise as she does. She's been a stoic presence so far, but in this moment she seems drawn forward by some force of curiosity. You watch as she bats away debris and begins checking terminals. What are you doing? Junie doesn't seem to hear you, or is at least ignoring you. She's already prying up an access panel off one of the more intact-looking terminals, and as she does, puffs of rust-colour vacuum the vacuum around her red. No, puffs of rust colour the vacuum around her red. She turns back to the terminal and finishes prying off the plate, then quickly she reaches inside, fishing around for something. Her hand comes back out with a wavy cable topped with a thick connector. As soon as she sees it, she slips a keyboard-sized deck out from somewhere on her person. She runs her hands along the back until she finds the right port and slots them in the connector. All this happens in a few seconds, the routine practice and precise. It's hard not to be impressed. Not your first Sondheim ship? She glances at you, a nervous look on her face. Does she think you're accusing her of something? She shakes her head and goes back to her work. Junie's fingers dance along the deck's keyboard, and a burst of static lights up the Solheim terminal screen. The sudden burst of light and colour takes you by surprise. Junie's fingers tap away, the terminal screen flashing with blocks of colour and lines of code. It buzzes and vibrates as long-dead systems force back into chaotic life. Then all at once it goes dark. The terminal's dead. Shit. Junie hisses beneath her breath. Useless. You cannot tell if the insult was directed at the terminal or herself. Find anything? She looks up at you as if she was just waking from a dream. No, she pauses. Nothing useful. She protectively slides the deck away. The cradle with the data core can't be far. She pushes off from the terminal, gliding away from you. I'll start looking, she calls back and heads to the side of the bridge. Seraphine glides up beside you. Everything all right? What do you think of Junie? The kid? Seraphine shrugs. You know better than me, keeps to herself. He squints at a retreating form. Seraphine stretches in his suits. I have to admit it's nice to be back working, especially now we're the ones who reap the benefits. Claps you on the shoulder. It's good to be taking our fate into our own hands. I know it's pretty rough back there. Rough there back on Hexport, and out here we're just as likely to get shredded by debris as find the damn data core, but aren't you glad we made a break for it? Pauses and looks down, having asked the question almost by accident. I mean, I am. I don't want to speak for you. I'm glad too. Seraphine smiles. You better be. Didn't give up that little dark side cupboard I was living in for nothing. He laughs at his own joke. Look! Seraphine checks his suit's wrist seals. Once we've got a bit of space behind us, once we've gone the distance, if we even manage to get that far. He furrows his brow. Don't feel you owe me, I'm no charity case. You want to go our separate ways? Fine by me. He meets your eyes. Just do me the favour of telling me to my face. That won't happen. Seraphine nods but doesn't respond. After a moment he shines his torch out in the dark, checking the rows of terminals all across the bridge. You watch the glittering dust as it eddies in the beam. Seraphine sighs. Let's get to it. You watch as he crosses the bridge, his torch probing the dark corners. You feel a chill run through your body as you imagine the people that once ran this ship. The Solheim crew, surely long dead. What was it like here before the collapse, when the system was the jewel in Solheim's crown? It's impossible to know. That history is lost to you now. All you can do is pick what you can from the ruins. Okay, track the pathways. Reboot the system! We get a 3. Okay, so data core location. Shit, there's quite a few, and we've done a lot of stress. What do we got? Hull breach still requires 3. We're useless on that. Ooh, crap. What's this one at the back? Fuel leak. And none of us can fix that one. Wonderful. Great. Deep bays. Extract raw scrap. Somehow don't think this one's going to go particularly well, so... I mean, interface is pretty much the only way to go. My dice is nearly broke. Neutral! Excellent. Well, that worked at least. We're not going to use that 1 down here. There's a 1 down here. Negative. Sugaration. I think we're going to get this. And the derelict goes bye-bye. One of your dice is broken due to losing all its dice health. Broken dice can be repaired at the rig for a cost once the workshop is available. There's a horrifying lurch. You are sent spinning through the bay you were crossing in a hail of debris. You watch as the side of the bay silently tears open in front of you, a gaping black maw toothed with flying debris. You stare into it, your breath heavy in your ears, your eyes wide. Suddenly you feel a tug on your back, your tether. As you spin back from the sudden arrest of your glide, you see Seraphine holding onto the other end, reeling you towards him. We have to go, sleeper. His voice comes urgently over the comms channel. This place is done. You both make your way up to the splitting derelict in silence, charting a path through what were once passages but are now twisted tubes, like the intestinal tract of some dead creature. Yeah, we weren't going to get great dice. We weren't going to get great results with that dice anyway. Eventually you make it out onto the surface and find the rig still tethered but gashed with debris and scars. You and Seraphine exchange concerned glasses. We're going to pay for this. He looks over the damage. Let's hope she still flies. You tether together and push off from the hull, Seraphine guiding you through the debris. Below you, the derelict is exploding in slow motion, tearing apart into a swarm of razor-edged shards. All this and no core, Seraphine fumes. Now the rig's torn up too. You don't have much to offer in answer. He's right. It seems the job was a disaster. You just hope it isn't terminal. It's gone. Junie's voice comes through faintly over the comms. She must already be on the ship. The whole ship's falling apart. No shit, Seraphin answers back. Contract's a bust. What a waste, Junie says quietly, and then the channel clicks off. You arrive at the rig's airlock and bundle yourself inside, noting the exterior damage. It looks mostly superficial, but no doubt will take its toll on the ship. Once you're back in the cockpit, you look out at the derelict's shattered form. It seems you'll be its last visitors. Well, that is a shame. We get minor stress during the journey, but still. We got a broken dice. As you arrive back into Hexport, Junie speaks up from the back of the cockpit. I need to speak to both of you. On the journey back, you notice a change in Junie, a hardening, and now she seems very different from the nervous hacker you first brought with you. I know we failed to extract the core, Junie sighs, but I want to be honest with you about why I came to you. I don't work for Karsten. Perhaps that was obvious. Yes. And I didn't want to bring him the core. You and Seraphin exchange glances. You would have taken it? She looks away. I don't know, Sleeper. Yes, perhaps I would. I would have also spoken to you, explained myself. Do you know how many of these cores are left? Do you know how many of these cores are left untacked? Junie suddenly looks gripped by emotion. Like it or not, we live in Solheim's shadow, in their ruins, and yet we know almost nothing. What chance do we have of understanding how we got here when others like them? Like Senatstadt and Conway, are descending on the system. The station and most of the other habitats of the belt are built on Solheim Foundation. She frowns, yet we're too busy scavenging them to take the time to look for answers. Men like Karsten want nothing but the raw materials of core like the one we lost. She shakes her head. We can do better. We could learn our history and how the system was settled. We could better learn the technology we built our lives on. We could uncover Solheim's crimes and seek to make amends. She meets your eye. We could see beyond survival towards something else. You never heard Junie speak like this, and you realise what you've taken for nervousness was actually control. This, the person in front of you mourning a data core, is the real journey. Real Junie, even. Not that it matters, she glances away, it's all lost now. Keep your honesty, Seraphin cuts in, it's worthless to us. Completes the landing protocols and begins shutting the rig's engines off. Don't have time for confessions. Junie looks crestfallen. Karsten won't come for you if that's what you're worried about. He's ignorant and stubborn, but he isn't vengeful. That is not what we're worried about. Seraphin gives her a pointed look. You tell Junie about the feed lines Karsten has, about you and Seraphin fleeing something, that you can't run any further without them. Junie nods along, her eyes darting back and forth as if trying to calculate something in her mind. Seraphin turns to you. If you have any bright ideas on how to get those feed lines, now would be the time, Sleeper. There's another way, Junie interrupts. I could help you steal the feed lines. She stares at both of you with determination. We could do it together. Seraphin looks at you with raised eyebrows. It seems he's noticing the change in Junie too. Karsten is an idiot. I can hack his security and you can pull them out of there. She looks at Seraphin. You seem tough. She shrugs. We can do it. Why help? Junie looks between the two of you. Export hasn't exactly been kind to me. You two trusted me even though I didn't deserve it. I'm used to that. I want to repay it. To mention that Karsten's probably ripping you off. Even if you get enough cryo, what's he to say he won't raise the price? Trust me, he's no good. I was trying to deal with Karsten to get those direct coordinates from the moment I arrived here and he ran me in circles. She shakes her head. Seraphin's watching her closely. Even if I do take you at your word, which given everything seems a little tough, how do we even do this? He raises an eyebrow. You're telling me we just drift in there and take the feed lines? Look, I get it, you don't trust me. She pauses. But what if I have a vested interest in this working out? There's nothing left for me here, and I don't feel much like hanging around waiting for Karsten to figure out my involvement in all this. I need self-passage. Safe passage, you need the feed lines to grant it. She allows herself a smile. See where I'm going with this? Seraphin sighs. Don't like it. He pauses, but it makes sense. What do you think, Sleeper? Like it. All right then, Junie smiles. Let me prepare. I'll head to Factory Row, scope the place out, meet me there and we can work out our plan. She glances between the two of you. Trust me, we'll find a way. We'll keep it simple. Clean. Simple's good. Agreed. Seraphin cuts in. His dark look betrays his concerns. I'll go scope out the bay we need in Factory Row. We should split up. Less likely for Karsten to suspect us. Meet me there in a few and we can finish setting up. Junie unclips from her seat, floating. I want to show you I can be trusted, that we can do this. She looks between the two of you. Believe that, please. And with that, she slips away down the passage towards the airlock and Hexport beyond. You look at Seraphin. Saying nothing, Sleeper. He unclips from his seat too. Either this is the kind of mess you have to go through to get out the other side, or it's the kind that you never escape. Either way, we're in it now. He leaves the cockpit. You stare at the chaotic lights of Hexport and wonder if anything in the Starward belt ever runs smoothly. Okay. I'm going to leave it there. We auto-saved. I think that's a good way to showcase the game and the new story and stuff, but not enough that it really spoils stuff. My only tips would be when you go on the expedition thingies, the contracts, you get new dice, so use up your dice before you go on them. And yeah, try and get the crew first, because I think I would have made more success. I mean, because I lost supplies and then I had to refill my energy, though I did get the money. I'm not sure how we could have done better on the other one necessarily. You know, dice is random, but anyway, we had fun. Thanks to Havor for the raid and the resub. Thanks to everyone else for being here. You've got about 30 seconds to get your daily Chivo, channel point redeem at the bottom of the chat, the little green trophy person. When you get 50, you get qualify for a free game. Details are in my bio. Thanks again to ID at Xbox for this game, for streaming purposes, and also for, you know, having an amazing program that makes me able to be able to stream so many indie games. It's just, you know, yeah, my streams would be a lot less variety if, yeah, ID didn't exist. Excuse me. Yeah, it's good to see you, Lady Magritte. I do hope you had a safe trip and you get some relaxation before you have to get back to stuff. But yeah, I am tired. I'm gonna head to bed. But yeah, I've been Joe, otherwise known as Angel SK. Yeah, I will see you on Saturday. We're doing, I don't know what, puzzles maybe some little puzzle games. Do a couple, I think. It's New Cats one. We'll see what comes up. We didn't actually get any of the achievements. That's okay, because then, you know, I will do rest off stream. I think I know a lot of people want to play this, so I don't want to prevent people watching the stream, I'll be honest. But hopefully you had a nice story time, and I'll catch you later. Bye.